Imagine losing everything you spent years building, not because of a market crash or a sudden tragedy, but because of the way your mind works. What if the biggest obstacle to financial success isn't the economy or bad luck, but the hidden patterns in our own thinking? It's a puzzle that millions face silently, shaping the fate of their bank accounts and dreams in ways we rarely stop to consider. This is Insight Archive, where we explore the systems shaping modern life. Money is often portrayed as a simple game of numbers: earn more, spend less, save the difference. Yet anyone who's ever struggled with money knows it's rarely that straightforward. Behind every financial failure, there's a complex web of psychological forces at play, subtle and powerful, guiding decisions long before logic can weigh in. To understand financial failure, we first have to look past spreadsheets and dollar signs and step into the strange, often contradictory world of the human mind. Our brains weren't designed with modern money in mind. For tens of thousands of years, humans lived in tight-knit communities where survival depended on sharing resources and social bonds. Suddenly, we found ourselves in a world driven by abstract concepts like credit scores and compound interest. Our instincts, wired for immediate rewards, often clash with the delayed gratification that money management demands. This mismatch between ancient wiring and modern challenges sets the stage for many financial pitfalls. One of the most powerful psychological forces influencing financial behavior is what psychologists call present bias. This is the tendency to prioritize immediate rewards over future benefits, even if the future payoff is much greater. Think about it. When you're deciding whether to spend that paycheck on a night out or save it for an emergency fund, your brain is tempted by the instant pleasure of spending. The idea of a secure future feels vague and distant, while that impulsive purchase is immediate and tangible. Present bias isn't just about weak willpower. It's a deeply ingrained mental shortcut that helped our ancestors survive in uncertain environments. It often sabotages our financial goals today. Closely related is the concept of loss aversion, which means that the pain of losing money feels far more intense than the joy of gaining the same amount. It's why someone might cling to a failing investment, hoping to avoid the sting of admitting a loss, or why selling at a loss can trigger overwhelming regret. This aversion distorts rational decision-making, making people hold on to poor financial moves longer than they should, or avoid taking necessary risks that could improve their situation. Loss aversion keeps many trapped in cycles of financial instability. Then there's the role of identity and self-worth. Our relationship with money is deeply tied to how we see ourselves. For some, financial failure isn't just about numbers. It's a blow to their sense of competence and security. This can trigger defensive behaviors or denial, making it harder to seek help or change habits. Conversely, a strong, positive money identity, a belief that you are capable and worthy of financial stability, can be a protective factor. However, building that identity takes time and often requires overcoming shame and stigma attached to money struggles. Another layer is the social and emotional context where financial decisions happen. Humans are social creatures, and our spending and saving habits are influenced by those around us. Peer pressure, cultural expectations, and family upbringing shape how we use money. For instance, someone raised in a household where money was scarce might either become hyper-conservative or overspend to assert control or status. Social comparison feeds feelings of inadequacy, pushing people to spend beyond their means to keep up with others. This social dynamic is a silent force behind many financial downfalls, as it taps into our deepest desires for acceptance and respect. Cognitive overload also plays a significant part in financial failure. Managing money isn't easy. It involves constant decisions, bills to pay, budgets to balance, investments to consider. When overwhelmed, people often resort to shortcuts or avoidance. The brain seeks to conserve energy, so it might procrastinate on budgeting or ignore financial paperwork altogether. This avoidance can spiral, increasing anxiety and making the entire process even more daunting. The less someone understands or feels in control of their finances, the more likely they are to make mistakes or give up. Emotional regulation, or the ability to manage feelings, ties closely into this. Financial stress triggers anxiety, shame, and fear. When people struggle to cope with those emotions, they may engage in retail therapy or impulsive spending to find temporary relief. Unfortunately, this short-term solution often deepens problems, creating a vicious cycle of stress and poor money choices. Learning to recognize and manage these emotional responses is a crucial step toward breaking free from financial failure. It's also important to consider how deeply ingrained habits influence financial outcomes. Many people develop spending patterns in childhood, shaped by parents' behaviors and early experiences. Habits are powerful because they operate on autopilot, bypassing conscious thought and willpower. Changing these habitual behaviors requires conscious effort, support, and sometimes professional guidance. Without this, people often repeat the same mistakes, even when fully aware of the consequences. Beyond individual psychology, the environment and systems around us play a role. For instance, access to financial education varies widely. Those who lack basic knowledge about interest rates, budgeting, or credit may unintentionally make decisions that lead to debt. Additionally, financial products are often designed to exploit common psychological biases. Credit card companies, payday lenders, and other institutions use marketing strategies that encourage quick spending and borrowing, knowing many customers will struggle with impulse control or underestimate the long-term costs. It's a kind of psychological warfare where the deck is stacked against the average consumer. But despite these challenges, understanding the psychology behind financial failure offers a path forward. Recognizing that many financial mistakes aren't simply about laziness or irresponsibility, rather, they stem from universal mental patterns, can shift how we approach money management. It invites compassion toward ourselves and others, reducing the shame that often traps people in silence and isolation. Financial literacy programs that incorporate behavioral psychology principles are proving more effective. Instead of just teaching facts, they focus on building habits, emotional resilience, and realistic goal setting. Tools like automatic savings, reminders, and simplified budgeting apps help counteract cognitive overload and present bias. Encouraging open conversations about money failures can reduce stigma and empower people to seek help before problems spiral. At the heart of it, money is about choices that reflect our values, fears, and hopes. It's never just about dollars and cents. It's about identity, control, and a deep desire for security and belonging. When we start to see financial failure through this psychological lens, the story changes from one of blame to one of understanding. We often think success is about having the right strategy or a lucky break, but the quiet truth is that mastering money is as much about mastering the self. It's a lifelong journey of learning, unlearning, and growing, one that requires patience and kindness toward our own imperfect minds. In the end, the psychology behind financial failure teaches us something profound. The hardest battles are not with external forces, but with the unseen currents inside our own heads. Recognizing and gently navigating these currents can transform not just our finances, but the way we live and connect with the world around us. It's a reminder that behind every bank balance is a human story, rich with complexity and full of possibility. This is why discussions around this topic often feel uncomfortable. They challenge assumptions people have grown used to, and they force a reconsideration of trade-offs that were never openly debated in the first place. This raises an important question that rarely gets enough attention, not because people are unaware of the issue, but because the implications are often easier to ignore than to confront directly. Over time, small changes become accepted as normal, even when they quietly reshape how decisions are made and who truly benefits from them. This raises an important question that rarely gets enough attention, not because people are unaware of the issue, but because the implications are often easier to ignore than to confront directly. Over time, small changes become accepted as normal, even when they quietly reshape how decisions are made and who truly benefits from them. What makes this situation even more complex is how gradually it unfolded. There was no single moment where everything changed overnight. Instead, It happened through a series of small adjustments, each one appearing reasonable on its own, but collectively leading to a very different outcome. This is why discussions around this topic often feel uncomfortable. They challenge assumptions people have grown used to, and they force a reconsideration of trade-offs that were never openly debated in the first place. What makes the situation even more complex is how gradually it unfolded. There was no single moment where everything changed overnight. Instead, it happened through a series of small adjustments, each one appearing reasonable on its own, but collectively leading to a very different outcome.